As everybody knows, not that long ago, Fani Willis was, of course, officially kicked off the Trump prosecution in the state of Georgia because the Court of Appeals that officially kicked her off said there was, quote, the appearance of impropriety due to the fact that Willis was, of course, having a romantic relationship with one of her fellow prosecutors, a fact that does not in any way impact the case. Okay. Like, hey, these two lawyers prosecuting this guy are having dinners together and maybe a little hanky panky. Cool. What does that have to do with the evidence or the facts or the prosecution? The answer, of course, is nothing. And let me tell you, as somebody that's worked in a law firm for 21 years now, um, lawyers sleeping with other lawyers is not uncommon, I will say. Certainly not all the lawyers, certainly not most of them, but there's always a handful that are like, okay, what are they doing now? But anyway, that's a story for really never day. I'm not going to tell that. But what I will say is that Fani Willis was, of course, improperly kicked off this case. And at the time when that happened, it appeared the case was likely dead. In fact, that Court of Appeals had given the state prosecutor's office, like, you got to find somebody by next week now, was the announcement they made last week. And if you don't, we're just going to dismiss the whole thing and nothing happens. You can't prosecute him. So it's kind of obvious the Court of Appeals seems to be in Trump's corner. But then a hero emerged, a hero by the name of Peter Skandalakis, who happens to be the executive director of the Prosecuting Attorneys Council of Georgia. And on October 8th, it wasn't a couple weeks ago, days ago, sorry. It was a month and a half ago. So on October 8th, you had the Superior Court tell Skandalakis, like, you got to find a prosecutor to do this, or we're throwing the whole damn thing out. So Skandalakis decided to go around. He asked a bunch of prosecutors, will you do this? Will you be the guy? Will you be the woman? Who's going to take this on? Somebody, come on, let's not let this die. And nobody wanted to do it. Okay? Which, in all fairness, it's a tough prosecution. I mean, it's the most high-profile person on the planet in a state-level prosecution that's already drawn all this scrutiny. So we don't want to do it. So knowing that the deadline was coming up in less than a week, Skandalakis finally came out and said, you know what, F it, I'm going to do it myself. Here is what he said. While it would have been simple to allow Judge McAfee's deadline to lapse or to inform the court that no conflict prosecutor could be secured, thereby allowing the case to be dismissed for want of prosecution, I did not believe that to be the right course of action. The public has a legitimate interest in the outcome of this case. With Judge McAfee's deadline now upon us and my review still ongoing, I have determined that the best course of action is to appoint myself to the case. This will allow me to complete a comprehensive review and make an informed decision regarding how best to proceed. Now, I love that. Now, granted, again, I wanted Fani Willis to stay on this case. I think it's total BS that they kicked her off for BS reasons that have nothing to do with the case or her abilities as a prosecutor. But I can't change what happened. But I can cheer on Mr. Skandalakis here, at least for now, until he gives me a reason not to. But I think that's bold. I think that's brave. Because again, he's like, I could have let this thing die. I could have just said, I can't find anybody. I don't want to do it. I don't want to put it on me. I don't want to be the guy in the headlines. So we're just going to let it go. I mean, all the other prosecutions against Donald Trump are dead. They're gone, dismissed, erased. And he could have just done the same thing. Nobody would have noticed, probably, because I think most people already assumed that the Georgia prosecution was dead. But he said, no, I'm not going to do that. The public has a vested interest in this. They deserve an outcome. And by God, if I have to do it myself, I'll do it myself and we'll get that outcome. If he's guilty, he's guilty. If he's not, great, whatever. But I'm going to do it myself because I am not afraid. This is just another instance where we have these high profile people, even though he's high profile, even though he's not a household name, they're standing up to Trump. More and more across the country, people are standing up to this guy. We need even more of it. But this, continuing on with that Georgia prosecution, I got to tell you, is a phenomenal start. Scientists recently discovered a new evolutionary trait in puppies, and it's that they cannot grow up and reach their full potential unless you subscribe to this channel. Don't do it for me, folks. Do it for little Atlas and Judge here. Good boys. You do good. You want to say something? No? Okay.